Hi there, this is Brent from PathandTarot, and in this video we're going to be describing the unique card spread, the Strider method of reading your tarot cards. So what does that mean? Strider, you mean like the video game? Nope, not really. Great game, but no, not in this case. Strider, like in the Linestrider tarot cards, the mini deck. You may have seen that article on my blog recently. So that mini deck inspired this new method of reading the cards. So I thought it would be an appropriate way to name the method. Strider method. Pretty cool. On the go. That's kind of the point. That's the sort of the inspiration for this style of reading, is that it's an on-the-go reading. It's a way for you to read your tarot cards very quickly and without taking up any space. The deck itself is quite small, so it'll fit into the palm of my hand. Very, very tiny, so it's perfect for taking it with you and not having it be, you know, so elaborate and noticeable. You can use this method for any tarot deck that you're willing to take with you, and I'm going to illustrate that for you using the CBD tarot deck that I've been using recently, just to show you that this method isn't really just for the Linestrider mini tarot deck. You can use it for any deck. It doesn't matter, as long as you're willing to take it with you, or just keep it with you so you can access it once a day. So how this method works, it takes some time. It's a long form style of reading that will take up to a week, between 5 days and 7 days to perform. And the idea is that you're going to be drawing one card a day, and you're going to accumulate these cards over time so that you can do your reading at the end of the week to see, you know, how the week went. That's the idea. So this is a way for you to store your reading within the deck itself, look at it throughout the day, and see how your message grows over time. I've been using it for the past while here, and it's pretty interesting. You get to really develop a deep message, and then at the very end of the reading you have something interesting to play with. So let's just get into it, and I'll show you how to do the method itself, and then how you would want to read the cards and some tips for that. If you want to store your tarot deck, I use hair tie scrunchies. They're really good at just keeping the cards together like that. Look. Ooh, that's the bottom card. Ooh, 4 of Wands. Interesting. Okay. Alright, well, this deck is already pre-shuffled. I don't want to do a shuffle with you on camera. It'll take up a little bit too much time here. So this is pre-shuffled. It's ready to go, so you're just going to have to trust me if you are interested in learning how to shuffle your tarot cards very well. Then you can read an article that is in the description below there, so you can check that out. And then you can read the article that is about this method as well. So let's just get into it. So your deck, it's all, the preparation is really key. So you really want to shuffle your deck as best as you can. So I have my own personal method of washing the cards, doing a riffle shuffle, and a bunch of a few overhands at the end, just to really mix up these cards. So for me, that's my way of putting my intention into the cards and preparing them. And it sort of acts as almost a ritual for myself as well, so I can put my intention into the cards and, focus and meditate a little bit. So it's just a few minutes of that, very deep focus. So you prepare your deck. So you're going to take it with you. So if you go to work or you're traveling, have the deck with you. And at an opportune part of the day, when you feel like I want a message, I want something, I want to ask a question. So your deck is prepared like this, and all you do is just flip over the topmost card on the deck like this. And then, for me, I want to keep the cards together, so I'll put my scrunchie right on the deck like this. You don't have to use the scrunchie. I like to do it because the method relies on having to flip your deck over like this. So you've just revealed this card. This is your first daily message, and then you're going to look at the bottom card as well too. So maybe we'll get a better look at that. So you would use this top card to then connect with the back card, and it's really up to you. Like, how do you want to work the message? Do you want to flip the cards around to get reversals? These cards don't necessarily make it clear, you know, if it's reversed or not, because it's quite symmetrical. Once you see the court cards and all that, you'll know if it's reversed. But if your deck has clear, you know, reversals and meanings and all that, you have an opportunity to flip it around and play with it. So you have a way to generate, you know, some sort of message that, you know, you can possibly get pretty deep with, at least in the beginning of this. So this is going to grow. The idea of this method is to capture information over time. So this would be day one. You've drawn your card on the first day, and you keep the deck with you, right? So if you want to look back to what cards you have, you can. So on day two, you take out this deck and you have both the cards just face up like this. And so you want to draw another card, so you want to have another message on day two, some part of the day. So all you got to do is just overhand shuffle this card back into the deck, and so you're going to mix up the bottom card as well by shuffling it. So you're just going to be using overhands. You're not going to use any other shuffle method because the deck is already shuffled well, so the overhands are just going to mix your front-facing card back into the deck, and that should be enough. So we're just going to do this. We're going to maybe try and get it on camera there. So that should be good. Just a few overhands. You just want to mix it up. So as you can see now, your front-facing card is somewhere hidden in the deck. Oh, it's actually just right here. So now if you keep your cards like this, that card is stored within the deck as a front-facing card. It's a very simple way of keeping a record of that message. Now you won't know what day it's on, but it'll still be here. That's kind of the point. At the end of the reading, you can sort of mix it up again anyways. So here we go. So this is day two. I've got a back-facing card. I'm going to draw my card. I'll do this. I'll just flip it over like that, and I'll put my scrunchie on like so. So I've got the Seven of Swords, and so that would be my daily message, and then I can use the bottom card again. Of course, it's different because, you know, we did some overhand shuffle. So now I've got these two cards to work with as my reading for the day. And again, you know, you can work with reversals, flipping the cards around, moving them like that. And so now, as you can see, I've got this card, and then I've got this card, and my bottom card to work with on day two. So you're getting more cards to work with as the week goes on. So there you go. That's day two. So we're on day three now. So I want to draw a card. I'm going to just overhand shuffle that card back into it. So let's just do that. Whoops. Cards will fall out like that. That's fine. What you can also do is this, is you can just fan out your cards and just cut them like that. So you can see, you can prevent those clumps like I just did. So now I've got this card on the top here. So this is just sort of a more fine-tuned way of just splitting the cards in half, or doing a cut if you want. So you're still shuffling it, but you're doing it more in a very specific way. You're not quite cheating. You're still shuffling. Oh, there you can see the card. So that's good for day three. You know, we just want to be able to put these two your two cards back into the deck so that you have a back-facing card to work with. So here we go, day three. I've got a back-facing card. Let's flip it over. So, oh, now we got the Eight of Swords. No, that's the Nine. Sorry. You gotta be careful with these numerals there. So there you go. So that is your day three reading. And then again, you have the card that's behind it to work with as well. So there you go. So day three. Let's get to day four. So there you go. That's fine. We'll do that. It's King of Swords. So there you go. So now you can get a behind look. So this is interesting. So swords and coins, or pentacles. How about that, right? So there you go, King of Swords. So what are we on? Day 5. So let's shuffle that.
So there you go. We got some wands here. So we got wands and swords. Interesting. There you go. There's the 8 of swords, the misspoken 8. So let's shuffle this one back into the deck here. And so you're just overhanding shuffling until you can get a back-facing card. That's really what your goal is for the overhand shuffle. It doesn't matter too much on how well you want to overhand shuffle. It doesn't mix up the cards too much anyways, because you're always working within clumps. So you can count your cards if you want to make sure you know what day you're on. So 1. Oh, where's the, holy smokes, where do we, so 1. Where is, I guess they're at the bottom. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're on, so this will be the 6th card. So 6. Ooh, the star. Yeah, cool. Star, and then we've got cups on the bottom here. So 6. All right, so this will be the last day. So you just shuffle your cards again, just get them, so that's fine. And so now if you were to fan out the cards a little bit, you'll be able to see where your other cards lay in the spread of the cards. You can see that the white borders will show, and so there's your how they're placed in the deck. So that's kind of interesting. So here we go. The last card is Justice, or sorry, Strength. My bad. I'm just going to flip around. It doesn't matter to me at this point. So there we go. Strength is our last card. So what we're going to do now is extract these cards, because now we're going to do a reading with them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the front card and just take all of the back-facing cards out until I get to the next card like this. So as you can see, I've got my front-facing card with all the back-facing cards, so I can just extract all that chunk. So I'm just collecting the front-facing card with any back-facing cards to do my reading. So there we go. We got the star, and I've only got a few back-facing cards. Now I've got my sword. There we go. So I'll extract that, and then we've got this, our wands here, so I'll extract that card here, and so King of Swords, I'll extract that here like so, and then I can only extract the one card like this, leaving me with just the one card remaining. So there we go. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that would represent a 7-day week, showing you how the week went maybe. So you've got a message that forms over time that you can then work with at the end of the week. So more, it's kind of like a revisiting of how your time went, how you felt maybe. Maybe it can help answer questions from the past to go into the future. You know, you can work with the cards in any way you want, so there really is no restriction. But the interesting thing about this is the way you extract the cards is now each card, as you can see, has a different amount of back-facing cards under them. So this Strength card has clearly the most back-facing cards, so it's the tallest. What I'm going to do is take the camera off the tripod, and I'll bring you up close so that you can actually see how tall the piles are, so you can get a better visual. So here we go. Alright, so here we are right into the cards. So look at this. So there you go, there's a stack. So that's pretty tall. And then we've got the star, not very tall. And we've got Strength. Ooh, it's the biggest one. And then we've got King of Swords there. There you go. So it gives you an idea, like a very clear visual of what's the most important card here in the reading, or what are the most important few cards. So we could say that we've got the 8 of Swords here, that's important, Strength is important, and the King of Swords is important. How interesting is that? You've got a way to embed patterns into the cards that are captured throughout the week. So that's kind of interesting. You can basically just play with how the pattern turned out. How many cards are underneath these cards? What does that mean? Can you work with that in any way to draw out something beyond the cards? You could then read the cards in order of significance, like I've suggested in the article. So you could read this, this, and then work with the less significant cards. So it's a way to actually create for you the significator card, the most significant card of the spread. In a way, it would represent you in the spread itself, asking the question. So, or maybe a starting point. Where are you starting in the spread? So it helps you anchor yourself into the card spread itself to help answer your question. So in this case, we would be working with strength first. So how cool is that? I'm sort of blown away by the result of these cards right now. It's so uncanny sometimes. You just have to respect that. So we've got strength, then I've got my swords here, and I've got the King of Swords. So this is kind of interesting. We won't do too much reading with this, but this will help show you how you would want to work with the cards afterwards. So I'm going to put the camera back on the tripod here. Okay, so here we are back on the tripod to talk more about the cards. So we took you in with the camera to show you how to detect the order of significance, the card with, or the few cards that have the most cards underneath them are the most significant, so you can treat them as such. And you can do a few interesting things with the cards just to maybe give maybe a visual. And maybe we'll go back into the cards and have a look at that because it's kind of neat. So you can sort of play around with the cards like this and have it sort of taper down like that, so you can actually see the height of the cards too. That's kind of an interesting thing to look at. So you can see that the cards get higher and higher, with this card as being the topmost, or the highest card, I guess. I'm not sure how to say that. I misspoke. So here we go. Look at that. Pretty neat. And then you can just rearrange the cards. Maybe you want to put them like this or that, and maybe create shapes and interesting patterns to maybe do your reading a little bit differently. Does that all fit in the camera? Yeah, that looks good. So now we've got like a high point and a very low point. And then you can mix up shapes. It's almost like putting together, I don't know, like planning out like a model or something. I don't know, you can use your imagination, but you can move the cards around like this using the height of the cards, like how many cards are underneath it, and create something that way. You can just keep going. Maybe you want to do something like this. Use your imagination. You can do quite a bit with just all this right here. So you would then read your cards in any which way you like. You could just do it order of significance and do it in a linear way, or sort of mix it up and make some sort of collage and read the cards that way and create your own story for that. Now, here's the interesting thing, is that you see that the cards have a clear order of significance. You want to maybe ask the cards something else, or maybe you want to clarify something that you weren't able to find out. So what we can do is reset the order of significance with these cards by shuffling them back into the deck. So let's do that now. So let's just take the cards off their piles. And actually this is kind of an interesting thing, so you could actually see the piles and which one was the most significant. So clearly it was over here, and these are, you got some connections in here. So these are our 7 cards that we're working with. So you can extract them just like this, and if you wanted to just read the cards this way, you could, no problems. But maybe you want to put them back into the deck and shuffle them and reset the order of how significant those cards are. So how would you do that? Well, all you gotta do is just shuffle the cards back into the deck, just like so. And this is actually an interesting way to demonstrate how cards clump up with your overhand method. So we're just going to do overhand shuffles. So there you go. Our cards are still together in a clump as we're doing the shuffle. Oops, card fell out. So it gives you an idea of how patterns of work throughout your cards. Already we've sort of split the cards, but that took already a few overhand shuffles. So in a way, this is sort of physical proof of the value of overhand shuffle versus doing, say, a riffle shuffle that can really get the cards more shuffled. So we still can't really get these top-facing cards to split. So that's kind of a problem. So why don't we do just a riffle shuffle, get these cards really shuffled out. So now we've got them spread out a lot more. Maybe let's do one more, just for good measure. That should do it. And so now with your front-facing cards back into the deck, we now have a different order of significance. But why don't we just keep shuffling this a little bit more? Oh, so now we're seeing the more front-facing cards appear. That's a good sign. So why don't we do another riffle shuffle? Sorry, my hands are... There we go. Maybe let's do another one. There we go. That's kind of a sloppy riffle. Maybe we'll do just one more, and then I'll show you the order of significance for the card here as we fan it out. So let's look at that. So now your front-facing cards are mixed in with the back-facing cards, and now you see that the order of significance has changed substantially. So there you go, you can see it. So now we can maybe do a few more overhand shuffles and prepare it that way. Oop, I think we got... Let's do one more riffle. There we go. And then maybe like that. So there we go. So now let's just shuffle the cards until we get a front-facing card like that. So that works for me. That's one of our cards. And so now we can extract the cards once more. So there we go. We've got that. And we've got King of Swords, Strength. See, now Strength isn't as significant. It's actually the least significant. So now we got our Nine of Swords. It is quite significant. So now we've got the Star. Ooh, now the Star is the most significant. Look at that. So there you go. So we got our Wands here, and then our Cups is a little bit more significant than last time. So there you have it. We've reset the order of significance by just taking your front-facing cards and shuffling them back into the deck of back-facing cards. And now we've got a different order of cards, same cards, different order, but now we can start to play with it in a different way now and maybe get a different message. So now we've got the Star being the most significant. It's the tallest of the rest. And now we've got our Swords and Wands here that sort of maybe have a connection here. Strength is not significant, so yeah, you can sort of put it around there. Make up your patterns like I described previously. And so there you have it. You can then reuse the same cards another way. Maybe you want to shuffle them once more, give that a try. You may not, there will be a limit as to how many times you could shuffle these same cards back in and get a different order of significance. So maybe 2 to 3 times if you wanted to really play around with it. But beyond that, you're just repeating the same potential pattern. Of course, you're going to have literally a different amount of cards under each card every time. It will be random, but it's still, you're going to get the same patterns over time anyway. So 2 to 3 would be a good limit, just to help clarify maybe questions you have that didn't get answered the first time around. So it does give you some flexibility to really play with this method and spend some time with it. So with this type of reading, you're going to be spending about 5 to 7 days. 5 days, 5 cards, 6 days, 6 cards, 7 days, 7 cards. So however many cards you want. 7 is a good amount to play with. It's sort of the Goldilocks zone of tarot reading. It's not too little, but it's not too much. Too many cards becomes difficult to read. Too little cards, same thing. It becomes challenging to make connections. So 7 is a really good, comfortable number. the Goldilocks zone for the Strider method of tarot reading. Strider, borrowing the Linestrider name, of course, as to pay homage to that. But also Strider meaning on the go, walking, moving. The stride, walk, you know. This is an on-the-go method of tarot reading in a way. You don't need a lot of space to draw your cards each day. You really just keep your cards together in a stack like this. So at all times when you're doing your draws each day, you're really just, they're in your hands all the time. So you don't need the space to be drawing the cards. You will need the space to extract them and play with them. But that's something you can do once you're back at home and you're in a comfortable, safe space. If you're on the go, it's easy to just take your deck out and draw a card, flip it, shuffle it back, you know, and then, you know, reseal the deck again in any way. If you want to have, if you've got a baggie for it or some sort of pouch to keep the cards together, or if you want to use the hair tie, that works too. Whichever way you like. And that's the neat thing about this method of reading, is that it's done in the palm of your hand. Take it with you, bring it home, extract the cards that you've drawn, play with it. It's almost like taking your temperature throughout the week. At the end of the week, you can really examine how it went and maybe use that to forecast the next week ahead, and you just keep going that way. You know, almost like a psychic forecast, if you want to think of it like that. But there you go. There you have it. So that's the Strider method of reading your tarot cards on the go. There'll be some links in the description there. If you want to learn more, there'll be the article for this reading method, as well as a link to how to shuffle your tarot cards to get them really well shuffled. I think that's an interesting topic because it really prepares your deck to be used in this way to do the overhands. Get your cards ready for use. So subscribe to this channel if you can. Like and comment if you have any questions. And then you can hit the bell thing there to get notified when new videos come out, because that'll be exciting. Things are changing here on the channel. New content's coming out, so keep up with that. And then you can put your email into the email mailing list, and I'll send out updates periodically about the site and what's happening and what's new and fresh. There you go. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you out there. So stay well read.